And I've really just been busy, and also mentioned to you guys that I would be on YouTube, which I am. But what's been really taking up a lot of my time, besides clients and other types of stuff, is teaching and training. So a lot of people have been asking, can someone learn to do what I do? And the answer is yes. Now, you can't learn to do it as good as I do it, but you can learn to do what I do. You can learn, how I do certain things. So if you're interested in that, knowing how to harness the spiritual technology of the African diaspora through the African diasporic traditions, such as hoodoo, for example, then we have some openings available. We've got 10 openings available. We've got 3 openings for apprenticeships, and we've got 7 openings for students. Okay. Now, the difference between the two is, number one, the cost is different. But number two, the apprenticeship is you actually come here. So you're going to have to be local, okay, or, make it so that you're local once a week when we do our intensives. All right, we do intensive here once a week on Wednesday evenings that normally go anywhere from 3 to 6 hours, just depending on the level of content that we have, what we need to get through, and making sure that everybody understands the information and that they can perform it and do it hands-on, okay? So we're here until the spirits say go home. We've been here. Y'all know I was really apostolic, so being up till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning is nothing for me. Okay, so we've had intensives. That's why I call them intensives. Where literally, we aren't dismissed until about 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock. That's not the norm. Okay, try to get you guys out of here by around about 10. But that's the nature of the work. So the apprenticeships program is 3 slots open for those who are actually going to be here personally, or be able to make that trip so that they are here on Wednesdays. The student, okay, we have 7 slots open for students. The student situation is virtual. So obviously you don't have to be here, but you will need a computer where you can view us live, ask your questions, also begin to do hands-on demonstrations along with us, okay, while we're doing it actually in the shop, okay. So if you're interested in being a apprentice or being a student, definitely send me a letter of interest. It is not first come, first serve. It is not first come, first serve. It is not first come, first serve. All right. I get the letter of interest. I've, weaned through them just off of a surface level. But then I take that to my altar. All right. And I do divination on each submission. Okay. So that not only am I in agreement, not only is the apprentice and or student in agreement, but also my spiritual guides are also in agreement with me putting my hand to their training, all right, and imparting what I know to them. So it is a 3-step process. Number 1, you make sure within yourself that this is a commitment that you want to make. This is what life is calling you to. This is not for people who want a very general roundabout. You have Google for that. You have YouTube for that. But if you want something more hands-on, something more one-on-one, something more in-depth, okay, not only on just hoodoo, but to actually be a hoodoo worker, all right, to be a root worker. I can't profess you'll be a root doctor by the end of it, but you'll certainly be a root worker. Then this is what this is for. So that's level 1. You come to realization within yourself that this is what I want. Number 2, I look at it and say, okay, I will agree that we can work together towards that end. And then thirdly, I take myself out of it and I do a divination to see if the spirits are also in agreement. So with those 3 things behind you, you're unstoppable. You got you behind you, you've got me behind you, and you've got my spirits behind you. So absolutely unstoppable in that regard. Yeah, so you need to send it through by email. All right, you guys can contact me. My website is in my bio. You can't click on it, but it's drnawage.com. DOKTORNEWAGE. All right. What are some other things I can say about it? It is an intensive. All right, so you're going to want to be able to dedicate a couple of hours on Wednesday night, okay, to this. Obviously, you know, if you're a virtual student, you can leave whenever you want to. But if you're going to be here in person, then certainly you're going to want to stay until we dismiss. Now, once we get into the prime of things, once we've got our 3 people and we've got our 7 students, then what we will do is for the people who say that either time or financially that's not something they want to invest, but they still want access to this kind of information, then what we're going to do is we're going to have some digital products available. We will have the video available as a digital product. We will have the audio available as a digital product. We will also have the notes available as a digital product, all separately. Here's the con with that. Number one, buying that, you're going to end up paying more than just being a student or an apprentice. Number two, is not going to be tailored to you. It's going to be tailored to the students, tailored to my apprentice. So you will not be able to ask live questions. So if there's something that you want to know, you may never get that answer because we may not cover it in class, or that question may not come up. So beware of that. I recommend that you pick up the apprenticeship or you come in as a student. All right. It's moving fast, so you definitely want to put your interest letter in. What should you include in that interest letter? You should include a couple of things. Number one, you should include obviously why you're interested and why you should be accepted. That's basic. I also would like to know your interest in magic and spiritual technology, where that, what triggered that for you, what was your awakening process. And then kind of lastly, if you've had any dealings with, my spiritual practice of hoodoo. In other words, if you've ever been to a hoodoo worker, or if you've done some conjure on your own. So those particular things I'm looking for. Obviously, you can put your whole life story in there if you want to. I will certainly read it. But I'm really looking for those 5 things. So number one, I forgot my 5 things. Why you should be accepted, okay. Number 2, what started your spirit? I don't know if Derek's having some connection issues there. I'm also considering. We actually did an open house 2 days ago. This past Wednesday, for people to come and actually see what they're going to be getting into. All right, they actually got a chance to meet with me, to come here at the temple and talk. We were in here like those regular intensives. So they got a chance to kind of experience that, kind of get their feet wet in it. Do you anywhere from 4 to 6 hours weekly? So you're looking at over 20 hours of content on a monthly basis. Obviously, obviously, you're going to be able to ask questions, all that kind of good stuff. You actually be here with the live session going on. So as I'm demonstrating things, you'll see it as well. You can ask questions live also. You'll get to know all the other apprentices and students. When we did this before, we were at 1,500 monthly, but that was when I first started doing this. We came back, we thought it over, and there's been a real deep cry for this in the community. So we decided to make this affordable for different types of people. Yeah, but it's a $1,500 value. So there you have it. There is a requirement that if you are accepted in, that you do take notes and submit the notes, because that's how we're going to build the notes for those who want to get the notes. They're actually going to be, those who are listening, it's going to be student submitted notes. Okay, so you won't be getting my notes. You'll be getting student submitted notes. Okay, another reason why you should be in class. There you go. All right, because everything may not be in the notes. Yeah. All right. Any other questions? About that? But certainly get in contact with me, drnewage.com. That's DOKTORNEWAGE, or Doctor New Age for some people. That's how they remember it. Okay. .com. It'll bring up my blog. You'll see a notice that'll pop up there that'll say, hey, talk to me, contact me, email me. Just click right there. It says send a message, type up your interest, let me know what it's for. All right. And then we'll go from there. All right. Once I get a couple of interest letters in, then we'll begin to do the preliminary, weeding through them. And if we come up short, then we'll open back up again until we fill, and then we'll, cut off from there. I'm going to try to be a little bit more present on Periscope. I can't promise that. In the meantime, you can certainly view what I'm doing by way of YouTube. Okay, you can find me on YouTube under the Conjure Chronicles. Just type in theconjurechronicles.com. You should see my logo pop up. All right, my channel is got our family colors, black, red, and white. So it's very, very easy to distinguish. It says right there, the Conjure Chronicles of Darkness, Khozmiq Nawaji. So if you've been hoodooed through your food, if you ate a spell, there's a couple of other different types of videos up there. I've got to upload some more stuff. I've just been busy, and I hope to be more busy with you in my internship, in my apprenticeship program. As we say, the Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. All right. Let's try. All right. Do you explain how one can be hoodoo through food? Yes, all that's in that video. And actually, we go more in depth in the program. So, we talk about how they would know, some preliminary ways to prevent it, and if you have been hoodooed through your food, some simple things you can do to remedy that. Obviously, if it's a more advanced case, then you need to go see a root doctor such as myself or some other person competent in the spiritual technologies of the African diaspora. But if you're in my program, you're my apprentice, then you're going to learn not only how to detect that, how to cure that, but also how to cause that. Because I believe that you need to know all aspects of it. All right. So I'm going to tell you this right now. If you're one of those, really, really woohoo new age people who have an issue with dealing with curses and hexes and cross conditions, This is not the program for that. Okay, you're going to learn how to hex and heal. Okay, we want to watch the replay. All right, want to watch the replay. Talked about how we're opening up for enrollment. We're going to have 3 openings for apprentices and 7 openings for virtual students. All right, so on a monthly basis. So, but you can watch this from the beginning to get all the details there. If you're interested, then send me a message. All right, send me an email with what I asked for earlier on, send an interest letter, and then we'll go from there. But yeah, so if you're interested about, curses, hexing type of work, we talk about that. We talk about how to uncross, how to break hexes, how to break curses, how to deal with the dead, raise the dead, speak to the dead, spiritual cleansings. We cover the whole. Literally, it is my objective to empty myself into my apprentice and my students, so that when you guys leave, you have an expertise in this matter. All right, an expertise in this matter. All right, so definitely I'm in South Florida, West Palm Beach to be exact, but definitely virtual. Yeah. Oh, certainly. Yeah, if you're in the South, you definitely need to be one of my students, okay? Because juju's being thrown, left and right, okay? You got to be careful what you stepping in. Especially out there in West Palm, Florida, y'all got, Santeria, you got Palo Maombe, Palo Kimbisa, Palo Briamba. There's a lot of different spiritual technologies that are going on out there. And you want to know how to defend yourself. So wherever your, vantage point is, okay, whether it is to defend, then you need to be here. Now, I will say this. This is not for the casual learner. Somebody just wants to add to their knowledge base. This is not for you. I'm telling you right now, this is not Google. This is not YouTube, okay? It is required hands-on learning, okay? Required hands-on learning. So you're going to learn how to do this stuff, whether you're a virtual student or in person. Obviously, if you're in person, you have a little bit more of an advantage. But we send out supply lists, and that's one reason why it's so cheap for the virtual students, because if you're in person with me, I do the supplies. So, that's why it's covered in their tuition. But if you're a virtual student, then it's low. The cost is low because you have to get your own supplies. But we let you know, I try to let you know what I want to cover that week, so you can kind of be prepared for that and buy whatever goods you need so that you can do the stuff with us live. But so if you're just there, if you think it's going to be one of those like college courses where you just sit there with a whiteboard or a slideshow, no, it's nothing like that. I'm going to treat you like you're actually one of my students. So if you get cussed out, be prepared. You're going to get cussed out. I do cuss out my students. And I do that. I'm very strict. I'm very hard on my students because I produce excellence in my work, and I expect excellence in my work. And people who leave from my program are going to be a reflection of me. They're going to be asked, well, who taught you this? Okay. They're going to say, well, Doc did, And if somebody questions you, then you need to be able to produce a good answer, right? In other words, you are a reflection of me as my student. I take that very, very personal. All right, so I'm not going to send out just anybody out there carrying my name. All right, because if you fuck up, that's a fuck up on me. All right, and we not doing that kind of thing. All right, so any questions there? All right. Let me also say this, okay, before there's any confusion, All right. People that share the background of the African diaspora will get preference. Okay. They will get preference. Period, point blank. All right. Am I saying that you got to be black to be my student? No. But I am saying there's going to be preference there. Why? Because that is an ancestral tradition. All right? This is what it is. Obviously, if I was, teaching Sidir or Astaru or the runes, there'd be a different conversation. But I'm not. All right. Yeah. So we're talking about a heritage, or I should say an inheritance, that was left here by African slaves. So, okay. That is my lost my train of thought. They get preference. All right. Some people may call that prejudice. Some people call that racist, whatever. I don't think so. I don't care. And that saying that if you're not an Asian, you can't take, not. Because at the end of the day, I don't have the final say. The spirits have the final say. Everybody gets a divination. So, yeah. Okay. I have a student who is Filipino. Okay. So, that's not a problem. Yeah, that's exactly. We're all Italian. There you go. So, there you have it. All right. Any last minute questions? Obviously, before I forget, yes, you are going to learn divination, poker, cards, tarot cards, geomancy, astrology. You're definitely going to learn how to read by 4 different modalities. You're going to learn how to read by astrology. You're going to learn how to read by tarot. You're going to learn how to read by geomancy. And you're going to learn how to read by the spirit. Okay? I can say that because those are my 4 specialties in divination. So most certainly you're going to have to learn how to read those systems before anything else. All right? Because that's going to be pivotal to any type of work that you do. You're going to have to learn how to divine. Period, point blank. Oh, my first super hard. Wow.